No, it's some up there on the counter. This is the one I'm trying to. Oh, I hit one red light. I didn't hear any sirens. Okay, I hit one green light.
Recording stopped.
Oh. Wait.
Recording in progress. Recording stopped.
Okay, I'd like to call
Recording
this
in
meeting
progress.
to order at 6:35. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please. Commissioner Barry Christian,
Present.
Commissioner Sean Hughes. Sean contacted me a little while ago saying that he won't be able to make the meeting tonight. He's not feeling well. Commissioner Nance Matson. Here. Youth Commissioner Allison Benzick.
Yeah, present.
Vice Chair Scott Ortiz.
Present.
Chair Tara McClinton Horner. Present. Do we need to excuse an absence? No, I'll note it for the record. Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have any public comment this evening for items not on the agenda? No public comments. Oh, wait. I'm sorry.
Hi, is this on? I got a yes and a no. Okay, I'm just gonna go.
One second.
Sounds like
One
it's on.
second.
Okay. Hi, good evening. I'm Kara Burner with the Napa County Bicycle Coalition. And I wanted to mention to the commissioners that the Napa County Bicycle Coalition is in the process of identifying priority improvements that would result in much better connectivity in each community in around Napa County. And we're doing this in part because the countywide bike plan is going to be rebooted. And what the bike plan does is it gives kind of a menu of all the possible improvements, but at least in the past, it has not prioritized them. There's a lot of work that's happened around safety. We have local roadway safety plans and high injury networks and a lot around safety. We really want to look at connectivity. And American Canyon has the lowest connectivity score, according to People for Bikes in all of Napa County. So we've gotten through Napa, St. Helena, and American Canyon so far by working with our team of advocates. And they've come up with suggested priorities for American Canyon in terms of connectivity. what we're going to do in our next newsletter is send out a survey and ask folks what they think. And so we really would love your participation. If you don't get our newsletter, you can sign up on the front page of our website. You in particular, I think, are knowledgeable and informed, and we would love your input on whether or not you think we hit the mark or missed the mark in American Canyon. One of our folks lives here, cycles here. He's an avid cyclist, so he's very, very familiar with the roads, as well as we've done the walk audits and various things. So I feel like we had a good team, but there is, depending on your personal lived experience, you might have a different take on something. So we would love to ask you to keep an eye out for that and to respond when you see it. And I'll just really quickly heads up that we're going to be doing some activities in here as Bike Month comes upon us. We're going to be doing a bike ride in conjunction with the Parks and Recs Foundation for Earth Day. And we're going to be doing a family biking workshop here in May on the 11th. And then, of course, we have Bike Fest on May 5th, which is in South Napa. So we're really hoping to get a lot of participation from American Canyon. We really consider it a countywide event. And I'll probably mention this more than once, but just want to get it on your radar. Thank you.
Thank you. I would recommend, too, contacting Jason and see if he could put a link to the survey in the city manager's update that comes out on Fridays. Might you get more response that way, too. Yeah.
Yes. I'm going to think about that. Thank you for the suggestion.
Okay, any other
Chair,
comment? Yeah.
I may have some comments. I discussed it with the clerk in terms of a public comment. There's some things that I wasn't able to say at the last meeting, and I wrote a letter to all the commissioners and to city council. And I haven't heard back from anybody on any of that, so I have no idea how that went over. But at some point, I was trying to think, how can I have a conversation with the commissioners over some of the issues that I raised, because I can't talk to them outside because of the Brown Act. And if it's not on the agenda, I can't talk to them here. So I might only be limited to a 3-minute. And I had one other thing that's new information. So I don't know if I've probably already taken 3 minutes, but I don't know if I can talk about those in staff comments, or should I talk about them in a public comment and take the 3 minutes, or what would you recommend then?
I don't know the legality of doing a public comment when you're on the commission, but I definitely think that doing public comment at a city council meeting would be a good thing.
Well, yeah, but I want to talk to the commissioners too, and if the city.
Another way you could voice a comment on this agenda, we do have an item listed under management and staff oral reports, and I would say the most appropriate way would probably be in that area, and so that you could conduct the business. But it depends on the comment as well. If you're making a comment that basically, hey, I'd like to make a public comment to announce something, then yes, you could announce it now. But if it's a discussional topic in regards to that would require commission involvement, I would say that there's no, after the meeting, you can still talk to each commissioner one individually, but as a group, then no. So if you were directed that you cannot communicate with the commissioners outside of the meeting as a one-on-one basis, then I would direct that to Jason or to Teresa. But I believe that you can meet with the commissioners individually, but not as a group.
But not more than two.
But not more than two, correct.
Yeah, the way John Woodbury explained it to me, I can talk to each of them, but I can't tell the first one what the second one said, or said the second one what the third. But then it brings into the question of, is it a serial meeting? You know, are you going? And it seems to be a little gray for me, so I wasn't sure. What I'm going to try to do is just wait until
You hear back from
staff
council?
No, the staff comments.
Uh-huh.
I'll try to just, I have three items to do, and I'll try to do it then, because I couldn't fit them all in 3 minutes anyway. They're not on the agenda.
Are they in your work plan?
Well, they relate to the agenda item from the last meeting.
Okay, so it's not agendized, this, yeah, I get,
And it's not agendized today, but our debate was kind of cut short last time. And then I've learned some new things. I have some new information and I wanted to present it.
okay.
Another way you could do it, you could mention the comment as to, and direct it to the chair, and the commission would have to agree to agendize it on the next agenda for further discussion. So you could mention it to Erica. Erica can relay it to Ally. And if you guys want to, if you feel like the topic or whatever that he's bringing up is a conversational item for the commission to discuss as a group, you could do it that way. But it's totally up to the chair to direct the meeting as to how she would like to accept public comments from the commission.
Okay, what I'd like to do then is just address one of these with the 3-minute as a public comment, if that's okay, and then I'll try to fit the other two in later.
Yeah, I've never seen this happen
So
before.
I've
I'm
never, I did mention that to him, that I've never seen council actually speak on a public comment during a actual meeting. They did, like, council have a section on the agenda where council will discuss any upcoming events and things like that. But like I mentioned before, that the best way to do it would be after the business of the agenda is taken care of and under the management and staff oral reports, but it would also depend on the direction from the chair. So the chair could say yes or no, but for me, from experience, I would say the issues that you have in hand, talk to the chair after the meeting, and then she could get with Ally to agendize it as an item, and then you guys as a group can discuss it.
And I can clarify, we can seek clarification on that process of a commissioner want to make a public comment. Can you do that as a commissioner of the meeting? But that'd be a good conversation to have the city attorney and or city manager about before the next meeting. So we'll have the clear conveyance on what you can or can't do as a commissioner.
Yeah, I'd be more comfortable to do that. I want to make sure it's done correctly, so I think that we need to talk about this after the meeting.
Well, okay, but I've waited a month. I mean, the last meeting was a month ago, and I've found some new information since then, and I have some information that our committee was given probably false information, and I've got an update to it. So now I'm waiting another month to be able to talk about it.
Then
I can't talk to you outside. I can't talk to you at this meeting, so it's kind of like,
Well, it sounds like you have good information to make sure that it gets on the agenda, and I think that's the best we could do right now.
okay.
Okay, so any public comment on Zoom or written?
No comments and no hands raised.
Okay, closing public comment. Are there any agenda
One
changes?
second, Chair.
Justin Hall is raising his hand.
Where do you see that?
It was at the top here. It just went away.
Oh, this is new.
Did you see it?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Hi, Justin.
Hi, good evening, open space. I have a quick question. I think I saw Erica in the room. I need to get somebody out here and get the light bulb turned on. It's still been in the dark. So thank you.
The street light?
Can you please provide the street?
It's at 901 Donaldson Way.
Okay.
PG&E's been informed. We're at the mercy of PG&E to get that light, I believe. I'll confirm with that with city staff, whether it's a PG&E issue or if it's a city street light issue on our end. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Erica.
Okay, and looks like that's all. Closing, public comment is closed. Do we have any agenda changes? No? Okay.
There's no agenda changes from Ally and no agenda changes from the commission.
Okay. Moving on to the consent calendar, we have the minutes from February 7th. I don't have a copy of them. I did notice that there was some funny language out of.
February 7th, right? Yep.
Yeah.
You weren't there.
Oh, yeah, it says excused none for under roll call. Does that mean that
You were
Commissioner
excused.
Bensick and I were not excused for our absence?
I think I recall you being excused. Yeah, you had notified them. And
I
think
can check
Commissioner
with the
Benson just-
city clerk or Nicole. I'm not sure who. You could also make a motion to correct the minutes.
Okay.
So whoever would motion to correct that section of the minutes.
Okay, could I
I'll
get a
move-
motion?
I'll move to correct
Okay.
the minutes from my recollection that both commissioners were excused.
Please list the two commissioners' name.
Allison Benzick and Tara McClinton Horner.
And I'm seconding the motion.
Roll call?
Commissioners Barry Christian,
Aye.
Commissioner Nance Matson,
Aye.
Youth Commissioner Allison Benzick,
Aye.
Vice Chair Scott Ortiz,
Aye.
Chair Tara McClinton Horner.
Aye. Okay. Does anybody else have any agenda? Edits? Okay.
We just approved it.
And see, we did. Okay. I wasn't sure if we just approved that one change or everything. Okay. Moving on to our first business item, bicycle-friendly community application.
Good evening. I'm Eric Almond Smithies, Public Works Director. I'm here to give you an update on the bicycle-friendly community application process. If you recall, this was added to your work plan adopted by City Council last year, June 20th. And city staff was asked to review the application process and see what that entailed and bring it back to this commission to talk about next steps. There are currently, I want to give a little background, there's currently 482 jurisdictions nationally that have been awarded either a gold, silver, or bronze designation for a bicycle-friendly community, and 59 of those are within the state of California, so I think we're doing pretty good. There's only one in Napa County, and that's the city of Napa, and they have a bronze designation currently. The application process you'd be open twice a year, so you'd have more time to apply, on a regular basis, but now it's down to 1 year, once a year, and it's in June of this year, the deadline. So that's gives us 3 months to try to push something forward that's not really doable with staff resources. If you took a look at the attached application or viewed the link, it's 87 pages. A lot of it's pretty straightforward. It's just time consuming. It's reviewing all the plans and reports we have to date with our general plan, different resolutions and ordinances that the city has put in effect. There's also a step-by-step the government application process requires as far as reaching out to our stakeholders. So the recommendation is we work with Napa Bike Coalitions. I believe they helped City of Napa get theirs for. I think the City of Napa did a lot of the legwork, but they partnered with the Bike Coalition. No, I'm looking at Kara Werner. But I did reach out to Executive Director Kara Werner at the Napa Bicycle Coalition about assistance. Should the city move forward? I think we are really wanting to do something like this next year, part of the next work plan, and actually go for it and see where we land if we get awarded something or honorable mention, and keep working toward a connecting bicycle community friendly city. So I don't know with that if you have any questions. They do have an awards criteria, which had just modified. It used to be 5 E's, but really it's 4 E's because they took the enforcement part off of it, of the application, because that's a whole separate process now. But it's more about connectivity in the public works side of the house of making it a more bicycle friendly community. So with that, I open to questions.
Well, just a comment. I think Patrick Ban was the executive director of the Bike Coalition when the Napa County applied for this. I think I
City of
recall-
Napa, that's how I remember it being. It was when Patrick shared the
Because I think I
information.
remember him talking about it at the ATAC meetings. So
Any questions?
Excuse me, the screen seems to be stuck on the public comment. Is it, I just wanted to make sure we're actually getting you on the video.
Oh.
That's what we were just looking at.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a,
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's the next
That's
one.
the
then.
That's the next item.
Next item, sorry.
Yep.
Thank you.
they're fine.
So going through the application, there's some things that look like, that involve, like all the departments in the city, planning commission or planning department and everything. So I imagine everybody's gonna have a little role in this.
When I was looking at it, it reminded me, last year we completed quite a bit of plans, the last 2 years, the local roadway safety plan, the complete streets assessment that the safety bike track awarded us from Berkeley and Kimley Horn completed. We also had the Bike Coalition completed their safe routes to school walk audit that provide a lot of recommendations. So it's a lot of like checking the box. Yep, we have that. We have that. So it's just kind of some time work, researching and checking which plan do we have and checking the box, I think, when I looked at the list of questions.
After filling out the application and submitting it, how do we know what are our chances to receive one of the levels? We don't know. And then also, if we don't, will they give us feedback on what we could do to fix it to get us there?
That I'm not sure. Do you know, would Kara Werner like to step at the podium and provide some feedback? Okay, that'd be great. So we get you on record.
Since we have her here in the audience.
That's why I reached out. I bet you Napa Bike Coalition knows exactly.
Yeah, so when I stepped in, I was told by my predecessor and our current program manager, who is still with us, that we didn't work directly on the application, but we were contacted by the League of American Bicyclists, the organization who bestows the rankings, and they asked us for feedback. So we ended up giving a lot of feedback and going through the application and whatnot. And we're really pretty familiar with them. I think they look more intimidating than they are. And a lot of what's in there, in some ways, the Bike Coalition would have to answer anyway, because we actually do hold some of the pieces around education and encouragement. It's not only about infrastructure. But I think it's a really wonderful thing to do. They give you a clear, concise, very easily digestible recommendation for how to improve your ranking, no matter what ranking you get. And that's really helpful. So we've I know the city of Napa continues to refer back to that in some of their decision making. And I think, just what I know about I haven't gone through it with a fine tooth comb, but just what I know from American Canyon so far, I think you have a great shot at a ranking. And I think it would be really cool to get some healthy competition between you and the city of Napa to see who can get to silver first. And it's a wonderful process, and we would absolutely be thrilled to help. So, is there any questions that I might be able to answer?
Commissioners?
I don't know if Kara can answer it, but we talked about this when we were the OSAC committee. It came before us way back when Todd Novak and Mike Stanfield were here. And what shot it down was the tremendous amount of staff time that it was going to take. So our OSAC committee would have liked to do it, but a lot of it, you had to get reports and all this stuff from staff. It had to be official reports. So that was what shot it down last time, was just that it was a tremendous amount of staff time. And then looking at the benefits, it's kind of bragging rights, but I don't know that there's any money in it, any grants, or I don't know that it's a huge benefit. It's always a benefit to show what you have and figure out what you can do better and add more. But just to document, this is what we have, you get an attaboy, but I don't know that there was anything. I don't know if it was worth staff's time. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe the application process has changed, but it was a lot of staff time, and that's why we didn't go with it previously.
It's my understanding that having something like this gives us more, pads our resume for applying for grants.
And community friendly, you know, as far as connectivity to schools, you know, walkability in your community. It's kind of like Street City USA designations. And as far as applying for grants, you know, continuing that growth and the improvements, and it's also helping with economic development, right? You know, and marketing tools for, I think citywide, it's more than just, you know, a pat on the back. And that's why we propose, you know, I talked to Kara about helping with that staff resource. And we've also completed all these reports in the last 3 years, you know, so it's just the fact that we have more data and more items to help check the box. We've developed some Vine Trail connections. We have more on the way. We were actually watching what Coalition's doing. You know, they did that Berkeley ride. I'm sad I missed it a couple years ago. But some of the pictures that were posted by then, you know, the then by Coalition director was, you know, we were able to copy the decals, the Share the Path decals that are now on our Class 1 trails, and hoping to put more out. And I think City of Napa is copying that from us because it's worthwhile. You know, who's looking up to see who's in front of when they read the symbol on the, you know, pavement or on the concrete. So I think it's a step forward.
I think it's great if the staff time, that's what kind of we hear a lot about, you know, we have a lot of things we want from our commission or committee before, and it's like you can only get so much staff time out of this, and we had to make choices. And I guess we came up with this as part of our work plan. It was something that we suggested, not something that city staff brought forward.
Right.
Yeah. Well, great.
I'm curious about there's fees associated with the application.
If it is, it's negligible. I don't think so.
I want to say it's less than $1,000 or the annual fee to keep.
Yeah.
It's minimal.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know about that piece. And just to come back to something Commissioner Christian said, while I don't think it aligns directly with a grant opportunity, any plan that anyone else has come in and said, hey, this would be a good thing for your community is just, it's like, you know, another reason to give a grant when you go to apply, kind of like the local roadway safety plan or the high injury network or whatnot. It's like a group of people have come together and said, this is, you know, and a League of American Bicyclists does this all over the country, right? So that's like an incredible piece of feedback, I think, because they've seen communities of all shapes and sizes and been able to kind of apply a criteria for how to make it better, which is kind of cool. But you know, we've also, just as the Bike Coalition, been involved in a lot of the things. So we were involved in the local roadway safety plan process development, and so we actually, while we of course would have to work with city staff, and city staff holds some of that information only, we have been involved and actually hold some of it, know how to get it, etc. So could attempt to knock on their doors as minimally as possible. But
Commissioner Madsen?
Yeah, I was really excited to see this on the agenda and see the buy-in with you guys getting involved. And I'm glad to hear that there are a lot of reports that have been completed recently to make this easier. So my question is the hurdle in terms of city council approving this. Do we also have to, does staff also have to ask for a certain amount of staff coverage, or is it just the NCBC?
That's what we're trying to leverage our partnership
Yeah.
with help getting the Bike Coalition and putting some funding in our budget for next year to help extend our arm of resources through the Napa Bike Coalition. When I saw like the partnerships, and I'm thinking Napa Bike, because they already have a lot of the. When I talked to Carrie, we already have all those partners. You already had. We're set. If you work well, so I'm like, okay, we should just be working with you, and help leverage our time and their time, and make it happen.
Great. I like it.
This is wonderful.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So I have so this is from June 20th from our work plan, and it says, review the application process for League of American Bicyclists and Bicycle. So is staff making a recommendation on this to move forward, or the next steps, or this is a review, reviewing it, and so what?
Recommendation is that you add this on your work plan for next year to actually move forward and implement or submit an application. Because we're recommending to put some money in the budget to have Napa Bike help us do some of the lifting and get this to the, in time for next year's submittal process at the end of June.
So this is a review. We don't have to decide anything. What you're just saying you're going ahead. Is there anything that we need to do?
No, I just think about it for the draft work plan. I don't know if that's in your foreseeable future agenda for next year, because that's go to council for adoption. But that would be the recommendation, is that you do say, yeah, we want to do this.
The agenda says the recommendation is to receive an update. Okay, are there any?
I'm for it.
Okay, awesome. Are there any public comments on this matter?
There are no public oh, wait, Justin just raised his hand.
You hear me? This is Justin.
Hi, Justin.
Thank you, Kara.
I just want to shout out for I just tend I just always attend some a meeting with our transportation, and I am very proud that we're probably going to be doing a saving ride a bike. So I attend some transportation meetings. That's all.
Thank you. Okay, it doesn't look like there's any other public comment, so we're closing public comment and moving on to the next business item, Wetlands Edge Enhancement Project.
All right. Again, we're just giving you an update on the Wetlands Edge Enhancement Project. This was one of our older projects, but we're moving forward on it. It was awarded in 2018, a State Outdoor Environmental Education Facilities Grant, and going towards the enhancement of the trailhead, essentially, there at Wetlands Edge and Eucalyptus Drive. The Citizens Academy did a little workshop out there, did some native plantings this last fall. There's been, since the application process, there's been the trail that was continued on. They did the outdoor gym during COVID. So some work has taken place since the grant was awarded that didn't hit the grant, actually, that was implied or included as a scope of work. Therefore, a lot of funding can go towards the actual outdoor education, pavilion. I don't know if we could put up the exhibit. Deputy Clerk Walton. Thank you. It's a little far away up there on the screen, but the original plan was for what do you call it? Not experimental garden, but a native garden, exhibition garden in that area that's close to Wetlands Edge and the parking lot quadrant there north of the trail. And then some interpretive signs and elements, like moving elements or owl boxes, something that's not just a reading sign out there on a trail edge, but something more that even like interactive for all ages. And now that it's moving forward, we, again, staff, we have a lot of projects on our capital improvement program. So we reached out to one of our on-call consultants and said, what would you do? Could we get a design proposal to implement this project? And another thing was the demand on the bathroom out there. It is a popular site. The city has contracted with Placer AI in the last few months, and the amount of people that come in and out of there from all over the region, it's amazing. One bathroom is just not adequate. And so we want to put a permanent bathroom structure in there that is an ineligible grant expense, but it's worth the city's time to get a permanent structure out there, especially if we're going to have outdoor education or other events out there. Where so many, like the S'mores and Meteors events, the Wetlands Coffee Walk, there's so many great events that happen already that it'd be great to have permanent facilities for all to enjoy in the community, as well as finish out the garden expectations that were envisioned 8 years ago. So that's where we're at. We're waiting on a proposal from RSA Plus's partner, 1515 Studio, that's a landscape architect firm, to help us with that design and visioning. So this is all we have right now. It's a schematic. This is literally from our talk 2 weeks ago with the landscape architect and RSA Plus. And we hope to have a proposal here in the next week or so we can move that portion forward. We do have a deadline of the grant, I think completion in 2025. So if we could move this forward and maybe have it implemented by the end of this year, maybe I'm being a little expectation, but that's where if you leverage your consultants. We'd had a bid to do the utilities for the permanent bathroom last year, but we decided to wait for the full project here, and it's a good thing because you had only a single stall bathroom envisioned, but now with more collaboration between Parks Maintenance, and they know how much use is used out on that porta potty, that we're going with the 2-stall approach. And it'll be beautiful. We're not sure on the structure yet. We'll probably bring that back for consideration when we have some ideas from the landscape architect, whether shade sails or a more rigid structure out there that doesn't break, that fits in with the scenery of the wetlands and doesn't distract from it. So that's what I have to report for tonight, unless you have any other ideas, comments.
Yeah, I do have a question about, so this park in the past had some security issues. Do you know, I think there were maybe cameras put out there.
Oh.
Do you guys remember this? Do you know if, I'm wondering if the bathroom is going to attract some, graffiti or just nefarious activity. I totally support the bathroom, but I'm wondering if those issues have been mitigated.
I have not heard of that before. It's the first time I heard, but that's something we could consider. We're actually looking, well, I won't bring that up, but other about security issues around the city. So I could get back with Park Maintenance and find out that's the current issue, and also enforcement to find out if maybe stepped up patrols have been working, because I haven't heard of anything recent, at least 3 years, anniversary is next week. So I haven't heard anything other than stuff out along Glass Beach, but nothing via vandalism or graffiti it's kind of apparent. It ramps up and then goes away for a while and comes back again.
Okay.
But we can certainly include that.
Commissioner Christian?
There was a plaque for Myrna Abramowitz that was destroyed out by the outdoor structure. It's on the west side, right on the river, the west side of the landfill. And that was hit a few years ago. And I think there was Hugh Marquez's bench was also hit. I know historically, Chuck Bowling used to be the land manager out there, and he would tell me all kinds of horror stories about people. They come in on dirt bikes and stuff from the back. But I think you're right. It doesn't seem there's been that much lately. On your diagram there, it showed the classroom. So that was planted recently, right? That was the what's the group that meets and does the city? They go through the whole class.
Citizens Academy.
Yeah. So for their final, they planted that. They went out there and so it shows as outdoor classroom, but it's been planted. So how's that going to interact?
So the original plan was a little further east of where that current planting is. So it's kind of halfway between that entrance right now to the trail and halfway to and about in the middle between the outdoor gym and the entrance to the trail system. So it won't impact the current garden that's out there. And we plan to expand on it. So if items have to be relocated or, that will make that happen with the overall project.
And the other thing was when Janelle's group did a classroom. So they're doing actually classrooms. They're bringing down school kids and they park at the new school parking lot, and they walk out there. And when the kids get all the way out to the workstations, if they need to go to the bathroom, they have to come all the way back to the parking lot. And it's kind of it's tricky. So if you did have a porta pot, if you're going to replace this one, maybe if you could put the one you're pulling out of there, maybe put it out there somewhere, just so that if they're going to, it sounds like they're going to keep doing environmental education. And so I think that would be helpful to have something further down, almost maybe where you make the right turn to go to the, when you walk down from the parking lot, you make that first right turn. 2 of the stations were right there. And then one was way over on the other side of the constructed ponds. But if you had one right there, a porta pot, or maybe it's something that Janelle's group does and just brings in when they have that. But that would be helpful for, I had the pedicab, Janelle asked me, because they had a gal who, there was a question whether something with the doctor was going to let her walk or not. So, and then we took a couple other kids from there up to the bathroom and their mom. So, and it looks flat, but it's uphill. When you got 3 people in the back of the pedicab, it's uphill. But it's a long walk for the kids too. So if you could put some kind of a porta pot out there where the trail goes right and left when you get to that could be helpful. I don't know what the constraints are, though.
I see it as being problematic because it's now hidden behind the trees that are there, screened, so you're inviting other concerns. I think it'd probably be on an event basis because that's also an expense. See, we're offsetting costs of expense for a porta potty by having a permanent structure in there. We're not having to pump it out. We have to pay for those porta potties.
Is the double one going to be a vault?
It's going to be tied to the city system.
Oh, it's going to go right in.
Yes.
Okay. I know what we did for Newell was we figured out that we could just buy a porta pot, and because they had the two up at Newell Preserve. And so we bought them from M&M, and we told them, well, it's the Boy Scouts. We got a discount. We bought a used one, so we didn't have to worry if it gets graffitied up. And then we would just call when we needed it emptied, because you didn't have that much usage out there. So instead, it didn't have to be regular once a week on that schedule, but you could wait until you needed to, and that. And I think that saved a bunch of money, but it's maybe a little tricky to schedule it.
All right, any other commissioner comments? Okay. Public comment?
Good evening, Kara again with the Bike Coalition. I apologize, I have not really studied this, but I don't know if I'm allowed to ask a question, but are there bike racks here?
No, I don't.
Because I got on Google and I did the thing, you never know how updated Google is, and I didn't see any, and I was pretty surprised given how many people might want to ride their bikes there to use the exercise equipment or to do walking. A lot of people ride their bikes to parks, and I don't know if this grant could cover some bike racks, but it really seems like a really good location to have some bike racks, especially if you're going to have even more people coming because of the educational facilities. So that would be our request if there aren't any there to consider including those if possible.
That's a great point. Thank you. Commissioner Mattson?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, because actually, some community members have actually brought that up a number of times, that there's no bike racks there. So I second what she's saying, is that if we can add it in, I mean, it wouldn't be a big cost, I would think, so.
We're not talking e-lockers, right? We're just talking bike
no,
racks.
just bike racks that you can lock your bike on. Yeah.
Yep, no, that's
Thanks.
perfect.
It seems
Thank
like
you.
it would make sense for people coming to use the exercise equipment. But if somebody's going to ride their bike all the way out there, I don't know, there'd be a lot of people that would park their bike, get off the bike, and then walk out to the wetland. You got your bike, you'd take your bike because it's flat. So, I mean, but for using the exercise equipment, that makes sense. But I don't know that you have a high need for a high number of them for people, because if they brought their bike, they'll ride it out there probably.
So if
That'd
you're
be
having
my guess.
classes, you're going to want to have bike racks. Because some of those kids, you're hoping they're walking or riding their bike to the class. Hoping.
Okay, I don't see any public comment online, so public comment is closed. Any management and staff oral reports?
I would like to plug, we're going to have a skate park opening in April. So I don't know how the invites will be going out. We're creating that list right now, but keep on the lookout for save the date in April.
Seems fast. Cool, yeah. It's wonderful. Okay. and-
I noticed in the minutes, when I was reading the minutes right before, there was something in there that I hadn't realized. And it said, there were comments made by Commissioners Mattson, Hughes, Christian, and Vice Chair related to use of camping and e-bicycles. By consensus, the commissioners requested that staff meet with the Land Trust Board of Directors to approve. So I didn't realize that was going to be in there, because my recollection at the meeting was that Director Ikeda was going to forward concerns and say that a couple of commissioners had concerns with it. And that was a big point for me, because I didn't know if there was a consensus or not, but it was
Barry,
put
hold
in
on.
there.
Are we going back to the consent calendar and making a recommendation to alter the notes?
No, I'm just saying I noticed this in here, and I had a different view of what it was going to be. I'm real glad it's in here. I'm just saying that's great. I appreciate it's there. It changes my view on part of what my issues were. but I hadn't thought it was going to be in there in that language. I thought it was going to be different, like just a couple of commissioners. But
Okay.
this says there's a consensus, so I'm seeing that and I'm just recognizing it and pointing it out.
Okay, so this, you're talking about the conversation that we're gonna have after the meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to adjourn this meeting right now. 7:18. Good night, American Canyon.
That was quick. Good job. You might have made a record, actually.
Recording stopped.